You had to get me 24 ounces?
I had to get you 24 ounces in honor of 24 karat.
I tell you, things I got to do.
What's the matter? You can't handle chugging a 24-ouncer?
Things I got to do for this
Knock
job.
it back. Knock it back. Whoa. Not the whole thing. Just over half. Just over half.
And welcome to today's Rowdy.com Big Three talking sponsorship, talking Budweiser, drinking beer at 10 in the morning. I'm Bassmaster, he's Buck Fever, and Jerome Buzz Cutler has today's three burning issues in NASCAR racing.
I wonder what could be issue number one. Could it have something to do with sponsorship? Budweiser announcing today that they're going to come on for 20 races plus the exhibition matches for Kevin Harvick. We've got partial sponsorships. We've got established veterans.
Key word there, Cutler.
Partial
sponsorships. And you think about Budweiser, think about Kevin Harvick right now. Just won the last race, is the points leader, possibly the championship favorite. Budweiser, iconic brand, been in the sport forever, and they're taking 20 races out of 36 points races plus a couple exhibition races next year.
It just shows you.
It shows you what, as you said, Cutler, this morning, the new norm is.
It shows you how expensive our sport has become. When a brand like Budweiser, one of maybe the top 5 brands in the United States, feels like they've got to pinch their pennies, that they can't afford an entire season with the guy who's #1 in points, and then DuPont, who's been on Jeff Gordon's car forever, starts saying they're going to do partial.
And it's different than a company taking a full season and then maybe selling off a couple 3-5 races here and there. It's like, look, we're going to come in, but we're not going to identify with this driver for the whole season long. We're going to take 20 races. That's just over half of a 36-race schedule. So I think things are different. I don't know if it's that the sport's too expensive or that people are just a little more circumspect with their money these days.
Gone are the days when Tony Stewart was just slamming the sponsors down, getting $1 million a race.
Slamming the sponsors down.
I mean, only half of the races for Kevin Harvick, that is surprising. Very surprising.
All right, the other big announcement we expect to come down today is that Marcus Ambrose is going to start driving the 9 next season over at Richard Petty Motorsports. So it looks like that team is going to be Allmendinger with Best Buy, Ambrose with Stanley, losing Elliott Sadler, Paul Menard, Casey Kane. Is this a net gain or a net loss for Richard Petty Motorsports?
I say net loss. You lose Casey Kane, a proven winner. You lose Budweiser, although I guess they didn't have that much money, but you lose a sponsor in Budweiser. You lose Paul Menard's money. He was doing better. And then you end up with Ambrose and Allmendinger, 2 guys that I think have bright futures, but the key there is I think, because they've really not won any races yet. So, I think it's a net negative.
It's hard to say it's a net positive, but I don't know why I'm the only guy in the universe, I guess, who feels like this team still has something to offer. You look at A.J. Allmendinger, there was a great fear that this guy would walk, maybe go to Penske or somewhere else. They retained him, and he is clearly on the upswing. You look at Marcus Ambrose, he's shown a lot of potential over at JTG Doherty Racing. I think maybe this is a tiny step up for him. And so I think having 2 race cars, now after a year in the Ford camp, a little bit closer of an alignment with Roush Racing. The equipment perhaps going to get better because Roush is improving. I think they're on the upswing, but it's going to be hard for me to sit here and say you lose Casey Kane, you lose Bud, and you lose the sponsor of Menards. That is a net plus. But I just have faith in this group for some reason. I don't know why.
You've got a crush on Robbie Loomis. Next issue.
Could be.
Next issue. You know, we talked yesterday about is Kevin Harvick clearly the chase favorite? And while he might be the chase favorite, I'm not sure how clear it is. Buck Fever, you asked it this morning. Is this the chase that NASCAR has always wanted, where there's not a clear dominant driver going in to New Hampshire?
I think if you look at it, it looks like Jimmy Johnson's faltering a little bit. It looks like Roush is improving. RCR is in the lead. To me, it's like, wow, maybe 10 cars out of this deal could possibly win the chase. I mean, it's not unheard of to say, Carl Edwards could pull it out.
We always wondered at the beginning of this whole chase deal what a guy had to do to win this thing. And the conventional wisdom at the very beginning was, look, you may not even have to win a race. If you can just avoid the bad finish and run top 10, top 5 for most of these races, you can win a championship. Jimmy Johnson blew that theory out of the water because he would be consistent and he'd win a ton of races in the
Crushed
chase.
it.
But you look at Jimmy Johnson recently, Pocono led a bunch of the race early and then faded at the end. Michigan went out there and led the first 14 laps and was never heard from again. It feels, and I may be wrong, Jimmy Johnson is going to make anyone who says he's lost something look like an idiot probably. Feels a little bit like Hendrick's not ahead anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone's really passed them by to a great degree, but it just feels like their advantage is gone. Jimmy Johnson has to outrun more than just his teammates now. He's got to outrun a lot of other guys. I think it's wide open, and I think maybe you could see a guy win this thing without winning a race in the chase. I think it's possible.
This is the chase they always wanted, where they have an incredibly...
Unless a guy wins it without winning a race, and they're going to have to answer all those questions again.
Back to Matt Kenseth. They like this chase because it's very competitive.
And how ironic would it be if they made changes now after like the most competitive chase in history?
Yeah, what are you going to change if you got 10 guys going in who you think could win?
Exactly. All right, that's been your Rowdy.com Big Three for today. Do join us at Rowdy.com, please. Have a beer. Have what?
A Budweiser.
20/36ths. Which would be
2036.
10. Well, let's not do the math.
But you also have to factor in the 2 exhibition races.
4 goes into both, so it would be like.
So it's actually 22 of 38.
22 of 38.
Well, let's call it 5 nights of the point span.
Plus the All-Star race, they're going to have a partial membership.
Yeah, that's a co-sponsorship deal.
So
have 5 nights. Have 5 nights roughly of your Budweiser and knock yourself out. Join us at Rowdy.com. We'll be there.
It's the Great American Lager.
Maybe Budweiser will see this and they'll send us money.
It's the Great American Racing website.
We're the king of website beers.
Yeah.
This Rowdy's for you.
We need some horses.
We need to stop.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.